Powered by Riverside FM.
This message tonight goes off, or I guess you could call this a therapy session, UP Nation. This goes out to the Cleveland fans, my brethren of the Cleveland sect, all of my brothers and sisters out there that live in Cleveland, that root for Cleveland teams, those of us that have just been bonded in misery for years. And I've done a podcast on this before, but tonight I had to do a check-in with all my Cleveland Browns fans, all of my Cleveland Guardian fans, all of my Cleveland Cavaliers fans. See, deep down inside, I'm still rooted in the Cleveland sports franchises. Hell, I grew up on them. My dad and I have fond memories. My dad and I going to a lot of the games, going to the Cleveland Indian games. When you spend 18 years growing up in Cleveland, Ohio, you just have an affinity for the teams. But it's also a burden. It's also a curse. And there's a lot of Cleveland addicts out there, people that will, to their credit, they will stand by these teams. Their heart is engulfed in brown and orange, red and blue. The old Cavaliers colors, what was it? Champagne. They're just immersed in all the Cleveland sports franchises. And I'm telling you, man, that comes with the burden. I think you need a therapist. And so tonight I am your Cleveland sports team's therapist. I have to check in with my brother. The Cleveland Cavaliers lose tonight to the Indiana Pacers, which completely eliminates them from the playoffs yet again. And see, the thing about it is these Cleveland franchises, I told you, they will suck the soul out of you. They have sucked the soul out of many Cleveland fans, and to their credit, they will still go down to the arenas and the stadiums, and they will sell it out, and they will put money in the owners' pockets, and that's just your right. You have a right to want to do that. You have the right to support your team. I don't fault you for that. But my message to the Cleveland sports fans community is just protect your heart. Protect your emotions. Support the teams. Root for the teams if you must. Just protect your heart. Many years ago, I decided that that's what I was going to do. And what helped is, way back in 1991, I moved to Minnesota. And so a lot of the Cleveland games were out of sight, out of mind, even though I used to check in with my dad to see how the sports teams were doing. Back in those days, there really wasn't any internet. You couldn't pick up any game and stream it. If it wasn't on where you were living, it wasn't on. Season ticket was just coming into play. And you really couldn't have it in your house. You had to go to maybe a sports bar to check it out. So a lot of the Cleveland teams were out of sight, out of mind, and so I just became, naturally, living in Minnesota, fans of the Minnesota teams. It's really all that I had to watch, so it helped me with my Cleveland therapy. So I became a Minnesota Vikings fan. I became a Minnesota Timberwolves fan. Not that I put the Cavaliers, the Guardians, and the Browns away, but when they're out of sight, out of mind, you really don't have an opportunity to watch them. So it helped me with my Cleveland sports teams addiction. Now, I'm always going to root for them. Cleveland is home. I love those teams, but I refuse to let them break my heart. When you think of all the dysfunction and all the busted draft picks and once-in-a-generation heartbreak, The Cleveland teams are just straight up traumatic. Like, when you look at what the Cleveland Cavaliers today, I think everybody would be in agreement that they had a really good year. But see, this is the beauty of what Cleveland teams do. This is the beauty of it. They had to go all in, be dominant during the regular season, and be the number one seed, just so they can let you down all season long. A lot of my coworkers on campus, they were like, man, those Cavaliers, they can win a championship. I said, man, the only thing that can stop them from winning a championship is if they fall into the curse of Cleveland, which means somebody's probably going to get hurt. When people are needed most, they're probably going to be on the bench in street clothes. And then the coup de grace is going to be when they have an opportunity to advance, they're probably going to blow some big lead. Check box, check box, check box. See, I've lived through this so much that I can set my watch by any and everything when it comes to these Cleveland sports franchises. When you look at the Cleveland Browns, as storied of a franchise as the Cleveland Browns are, 0 Super Bowls. You would think that they would break through one time. We've had disappointments like the drive, the fumble, Bottlegate, the quarterback graveyard, 40 starting quarterbacks since 1999, 40 starting quarterbacks since 1999. The 2020 playoff game gave Cleveland Browns fans hope against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then came the Deshaun Watson mess to tie everything up in a nice neat bow. And the quarterbacks that got you the playoff victories, you got rid of. And now, thinking that you made the smart move by bringing back a guy like Joe Flacco because you knew he was good before, all you did was waste a year with him. But in your mind, you think the logic is good. The Cleveland Cavaliers, LeBron James, the greatest thing since sliced bread, came out of Akron, left you twice. The 2016 title in downtown Cleveland was epic. For all you Cleveland Browns fans and Cleveland Cavaliers fans, the Cleveland community in general, do you remember what downtown looked like after that championship? It just shows you the greatness. And I hate to say this because I'm not a big LeBron James fan. Everybody knows that. But it shows you how great LeBron James is to break through all of the cursed mess, the stuff that sucks the soul out of your fandom. For him to break through that and somehow win a championship, especially being down 3-1, it is the greatest, I repeat, it is the greatest accomplishment that LeBron James has ever done in a jersey and a pair of shorts with tennis shoes. He may not know it, but to break through that curse, hats off, credit to LeBron James. Because you can look at the heartbreak of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Anthony Bennett, number 1 overall pick, Deion Waiters, Colin Sexton, blah, 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 blah. And then the cherry on top of the sundae with the curse is the LeBron James decision. It just crushed the city. The sports teams will suck the soul out of you. You got to protect your heart. You got to protect the emotions. Don't mean you can't support them. Just protect your heart. This is a therapy session from Dr. Jones here. Then he leaves you once. You bring him back. LeBron James leaves you again. And then you get the Donovan Mitchell trade, which offered hope to the Cleveland Cavaliers. He signed an extension with the Cleveland Cavaliers. But once again, the letdown of letdowns happened. And listen, man, it's not like the Cleveland Cavaliers were a 6th or 7th seed. If they were like a 6th, 7th, or 8th seed, you can understand, but no. But no, they had to go out and they had to get the number 1 seed. You got the drive, you got the fumble. What is this debacle going to be called? The seed? Is this going to be remembered and known as the seed? See, this is what Cleveland fans have to go through, and I feel sorry for the Cleveland fans. It's why I'm checking in. It's why I'm checking in, because I decided a long time ago that I can't invest my whole heart into just disappointments year after year after year. The last World Series for the Cleveland Guardians, 1948. 1995, they lost to the Braves. 1997, Game 7, bottom of the 9th, blown save, lost to the Mariners. Blew a 3-1 lead to the Cubs, ended their 108-year curse. How about the Trevor Bauer drone injury before the ALCS Game 3, cut finger, left bleeding after 21 pitches? The front office of the Guardians never keeps the big-time talent together. It's Moneyball City. So many teams had just enough. Man, it's just heartbreak after heartbreak, Cleveland. It's heartbreak after heartbreak. The drive, the fumble, LeBron's decision, Trevor Bauer's drone disaster. Now you've got the 2025 Cleveland Cavaliers collapse. Number 1 seed, 64 wins, eliminated in 5 games by the Pacers. And here's the coup de grace. They had a 19-point lead. A 19-point lead in Game 5. That's how the Cleveland Cavs ended their season for Cleveland Browns fans. So I say to Cleveland Browns fans out there, don't be upset. Get all your emotions out. Just remember the next time. Support, but don't invest. Because if you invest, it's going to take the stress of it. It's going to take years off your life, brother. Believe that. It's going to take years off your life. These sports teams in the city of Cleveland will suck the soul out of you. And again, I will say it really shows you the greatness that is the LeBron James. To be able to break through all of that cursed mess. And again, you saw it come full circle tonight with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Man, which team? You figure this can't last forever. But every time you get investment, anytime you get invested in one of these teams, they find a way to let you down. I've always said the next team in Cleveland that will win a championship will be a team that you just don't see coming. You just don't see the year coming. They will not be the number 1 seed. They will not go into their preseason, being highly touted number 1 team in whatever league they play in. The fans, the national media, the local media, you just won't see it coming. And sooner or later, whatever that team is going to be, they're going to break through. Man, what an ending to the Cleveland Cavaliers season. I had to check in with my Cleveland fans, man. I do a show with my 2 brothers, Rodney Young and T. Austin. 2 boys from Warrensville Heights like myself. Hardcore Cleveland fans. Hardcore Cleveland fans and will always be hardcore Cleveland fans. But Rod and T are the fans that I feel sorry for the most. because they're so invested and they live and die with those teams in Cleveland. And sooner or later, these franchises, they have to find a way to break through for those type of fans, or they're going to lose them. See, my heart just couldn't take anymore, man. So again, I will always check in with my Cleveland teams. I will watch them. I will support them from afar. Man, I just can't be invested anymore. I just can't be invested anymore. And here's a shocker. Here's a shocker for the Cleveland Cavaliers game tonight. I didn't even watch it. I was checked out of this series the minute I saw three of our big-time players in street clothes not playing 2 games ago. I said to myself, they don't want it that bad. They don't want it that bad. Because you have to know, and this is the problem with a lot of young players, and I'm not just talking Cavaliers or Browns. I'm talking with a lot of teams that have a young nucleus of superstars. They always feel like deep down in the crevices of their brains, because I coach a lot of young people, they feel like there's always going to be another time. Oh, well, we'll get back there next year. Oh, eventually, when my career is over, I'm going to win a ring. Oh, eventually, we'll get back to this point again. And what these athletes don't realize is that there are no guarantees. And so my question to, I believe it was Mobley and Garland, and my question to those 3 guys is, if you knew that you wouldn't have another opportunity at the playoffs ever, or if you knew you didn't have another opportunity at the championship ever, would you have played in that game? Would you have played in that game? Because as soon as the decision was made not to play, all the air in that series went out of the balloon, point blank. And Indiana took advantage of it. Just unbelievable, man. Another debacle, another disappointment for Cleveland fans. I feel really, really bad for them. I feel sorry for them, but this is a therapy session for Cleveland fans. You know, there's nothing wrong with being supportive. Support those teams. Go down to that stadium, have a good time, tailgate. Support those teams. I'm just telling you, protect your heart. You have a resume of what Cleveland sports franchises are. Protect your heart. Protect your emotions, man. Protect your heart. Protect your emotions. We'll discuss this a little bit more when I'm on with my brothers on 3 the Hard Way. On Sundays, we will talk about the ending to this, the Cleveland Cavaliers, what's next. We're going to dissect what went wrong, look at some of the coaching moves that were made, look at this team, what's next. Here's the hard thought about it. Do you run it back? Do you run it back? Like, if you run it back and you have another good regular season year, what are the emotions of the fans supposed to be like? And see, I hate these teams, when the fans are like, well, they got to win a playoff game. And, when fans start to get real and start to focus on reality of the teams that they root for, there's always pushback from the players. No, nobody believed in us. Nobody, once you get off the bandwagon, stay off. You start hearing all that type of stuff. But yet they keep doling out disappointments like this and expect people not to be disappointed. There's always that crew on every sports organization team, and there'll be some on the Cavs where if the fans start pushing back a little bit, well, if you're going to be off the bandwagon, stay off. Once we get rolling again, don't jump back on. Okay. Because you're going to hear some of that from some of those Cleveland Cavaliers players, man. But I'm not here to beat up on the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm here to counsel the Cleveland fandom that needs to be counseled. Protect your heart, man. Protect your heart. Please check in with us on 3 The Hard Way. Filming on Sunday. It's going to be a great show, man. We got a lot to unpack. We got a lot to talk about. Myself, Coach Rodney Young, and Mr. Terrence Office. Check out 3 The Hard Way on Sunday. Cleveland fans, keep your head up. Things will get better. See you on 3 The Hard Way.